Good morning, Olympus. Welcome back to Channel 9's morning show. Today we'll be talking about and covering the latest topics: Helios' attack on Odysseus, murdered cows, and moving pieces of beef. That sounds like a very strange topic for today. Anyways, let's welcome our first guest, the man himself, Odysseus.
Hi everyone, I'm Odysseus, a demigod.
Hello, Odysseus. It is so nice to meet you. I was wondering, what was the scariest moment for you and your men in the journey?
At one point in my journey, all my men were stranded out at sea. They were all gone, and I was all by my lonesome self.
And how did all of this come about?
It all started when we ran out of all our food while we were on our ship. We were starving, we hadn't eaten in days, and we were going crazy. There was about to be a massive famine that would wipe out our vessel and our crew. We knew the massive impact that a famine could have on our men in our journey, and we were also fearful for our lives. If we didn't get food soon, we would die. I would never get to see my wife or son ever again. The only solution the crew could come up with was to take the efforts from Helios and then make up for it by building a temple when they returned back to Ithaca. We knew that Helios would get mad at us, so we strongly hoped that he would forgive us.
So how did Helios end up feeling about that?
When I found out Odysseus' plan, I got into a heated argument with Zeus because I wanted to get revenge, but Zeus just wanted me to stay cool about it. He thought that I should just keep calm because Odysseus and his men were so desperate. He also said that it wouldn't affect me that much to lose a few cows. Odysseus let his men steal my precious cows. To get payback for taking my heifers, I was going to wreck their ship with lightning and put an end to their journey. Even though Zeus still thought I should just let them be, I was determined to get my revenge on Odysseus and his men.
In my opinion, I would rather risk the wrath of Helios than die of famine. I always thought that even if he got mad at us for taking his cows, we would always make up for it somehow, right?
So Odysseus and his men went up to Helios' field of cattle and chose a few tranquil cattle. They stripped their carcasses and wrapped them in folds of fat.
I cried out in anger and regret to Zeus for my previous actions against Helios. I had so many thoughts in my head at once. Was it worth it? Was I going to regret this? What if I didn't make it home because of this one decision? When I found out about the heated exchange between Zeus and Helios, I went to the sea cave to think about my action.
Now I understand the scary, life-changing decision that Odysseus had to make, but I'm a little confused about what happened with the moving beef. But before we hear about Helios, Zeus, and Odysseus' point of view, let's hear from one of the cows. So, cows, how did you feel about getting taken from your owner?
I felt really betrayed. I didn't want to be taken from my home and family, plus I knew my life would be ending very quickly, which meant that I was going to die very soon.
Now that we've heard the cow's opinion, we're going to hear about how Helios felt about this entire situation.
In response to them taking and sacrificing my cows, I decided to bewilder them. The gods made it appear that the beef was dancing around on the ground of the ship.
Hi, I'm Zeus. My plan was that I decided to leave them alone and let them eat on their beef for 6 whole days. Once Odysseus and his men set out, I sent a storm their way to avenge Helios. I sent a bolt of lightning to strike down their mast.
Let's hear from Odysseus about his point of view.
Suddenly everything was falling. I saw my whole journey fall to pieces. Literally. Our ship fell into massive chunks of wood into the water. All of my men were thrown out to sea. But luckily, I was able to climb back onto what was left, but the chunk of wood that I was floating on drifted into a whirlpool.
Oh, well that sounds horrible. How did you get away from that whirlpool?
I was able to pull myself off the piece of the ship, and I climbed up to the top of a fig tree. It took forever for all of those pieces of my ship to eventually get washed into the whirlpool, so I had to patiently wait for all of my pieces to slowly float back up.
Were you able to get back onto the pieces of your ship?
I was able to climb up onto a piece of my ship, and I rowed my way past the awful whirlpool that took my ship. I drifted in the open sea for 9 whole days.
9 days? How did you end up on a piece of land?
Thankfully, the gods led me to the Ogygia island.
Now that you know about Odysseus' adventure of the cattle and the sun gods, let's test how well you were listening.